Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. It's good news. And on today's show, the Punisher gets an early Christmas gift, James Gunn resets the DCEU, and Robo-Santa will murder us all. But as you know here at Model Behaviour, action figures always come first. Or sometimes not at all. Scott! Ah! So let's talk about them. We have so much stuff to cover today. I'm going to try and be a little bit loosey-goosey. Just going to try and go from one thing to another. Not too many edits and reshoots because we're going to be here all day. So first up, Marvel Legends. They just revealed their Ronan the Accuser figure. An Amazon exclusive. And yet we had the leak of this about a month or so ago. Yours truly was not the first one to debut it. I just saw it on social media like everyone else and went, I'll make a video of that. And I did. And now here it is. And it feels like an old action figure. Is it just me? But I think that when I look at this, I'm like, this looks like a figure that came out 10 years ago or so. But with a price of about $40, which is a much more modern price figure. Because, yeah, he can qualify as a deluxe figure, I guess, but not by much. I mean, no other heads. He's got a big axe. He's kind of chunky, but I don't know, man. I'm just not feeling it. But then again, I'm not a big cosmic guy anyway. I only know Ronan the Accuser from, just visually. I recognize him, and I know him from Guardians, but besides that, I'm not like, man, I remember the time when Ronan did this thing, and he accused this guy of a thing. No, I don't know. But if you want to pick up the Kree Warrior, you can do. But only from Amazon. He's an Amazon exclusive. And again, don't like those exclusives. Always leave a bit of a sour taste in the mouth, because you know that the only people who benefit from exclusives are the retailer and the producer. It just makes things harder for fans and makes things harder to get. And it's not very consumer friendly, is what I'm saying. And Model Behaviour, it's all about being friendly. But still, he's out there for pre-order now. So if you want him, go on over to Amazon. See, I would have normally edited that. Not today. And then also up for pre-order, we've got the other X-Men sort of reveals and drops from the recent Marvel stream. We got the 2 3-packs of the blue costumes, each one retailing for $77.99, which is kind of just in line with most things, but still, it's expensive. It's expensive, but it is kind of nice. I will say, it's nice to have an entire team, boom, just there it is. With Wolverine as well, that's 7 team members. That's a whole X-Men display right there. Bam. I really like the fact that they've just gone, you know what? Let's not pussyfoot around. Let's just do this. Drop the whole team. So, yeah, it's expensive, but it's in line with what the current prices are. And I'm easily skipping this because I got the Jim Lee guys. And if you got the Jim Lee guys, I don't need to double up on everyone else as well, especially because we got animated versions now as well. And it seems like, it's kind of a good time to be a collector, because if you're just getting started, it's pretty, everything is quite abundant now. You want to put together the Jim Lee team. It's not like a few years ago where you'd be like, I just need Jubilee now. How much? So that's kind of nice. So yeah, you can pick those up. They're not exclusive anywhere, so that's pretty good. Then also there's the Blob. Let me just check the price there for the Blob. One quick search on Big Bad Toy Store later, and the Blob is $57.99. Hoo-ha! This is expensive. That's a lot. That's a lot. So, if you've got the Brotherhood minus the Blob, if you've got Magneto, Mystique, Pyro, Avalanche, I can understand you want to fill that blobby gap. But man, these prices, dude. It's a lot. But yeah, he's available now as well. So let me just make sure I wasn't imagining things. Yes, for $57.99, you can go pick up the Blob. All right, we've done Marvel, so let's move on over. Let's sashay away over to McFarlane DC. And I got to say, this might be the year that McFarlane DC really started to impress me more and more. The sculpting, the paintwork, the creativity in so many of the figures. Because one thing I never liked about DC was that it was just so wacky, I felt like. It's just so odd. It's just unusual. I was like, what are the concepts and characters you guys are doing? But now I'm kind of embracing it, especially, all right, let me get the right name here, with the DC Multiverse Fulcrum Abominus Dark Knight's Metal Mega Figure. It's a Justice League Megazord. I freaking love that. It's ridiculous, crazy. I tried to do some research, but there's very little on it. Something to do with Mongol and gladiatorial combat, something like that. Apparently it only appears for a couple of panels, but who cares? It's a giant mech Megazord combiner of the Justice League. You got like Batman with the head, Superman torso, Aquaman Flash legs, Wonder Woman Cyborg for the arms. It looks so fun, so stupid, but awesome stupid. I could be down to clown with this. I'm gonna keep an eye out for this, because just as a crazy, bizarre Transformers, Power Rangers like mashup of a creation, I love the look of this. And that's not all. McFarlane revealed a few other things as well. He's got the Eradicator figure has been revealed with a quick promo shot. And look, we've had the Superboy promo shot. Now we got the Eradicator. I'm sure we're going to be getting Steel and Cyborg Superman. They got to be doing the Reign of the Superman. That's not like some crazy Mystic Meg prediction. That must be happening, I'm sure. So I could be tempted. I could be tempted to pick these up because, you know, you got to think like maybe Doomsday is going to be on the horizon as well. Nice big chunky Doomsday mega figure. That could be a lot of fun. So fingers crossed next year there's going to be some cool 90s goodness coming from McFarlane. And y'all know me. 90s is the place to be. So that's going to be really fun to look out for. And then finally, they're also doing a McFarlane Multiverse DC Batman versus Vampires Batman variant. And yeah, I know, it's Malibu Stacy with a new hat. We've got 10 bajillion Batmen, but that's redundant to say now. Batman sells. Batman makes money. If McFarlane make money, they're going to make more action figures. So more power to you. If you want a vampiric looking Batman, I mean, he looks kind of cool. Looks kind of funky. So ain't nothing wrong with that. You can go pick him up in the near future too. No release date or full reveals yet. These are just the teaser images. And finally, for the McFarlane reveals, we have another Batman, which is the Arkham Knight Earth 2 Batman costume, skin, if you want to call it that. Whatever you want to call it guaranteed to sell a decent amount of action figures, because it's Batman. And also, Batman with red eyes just looks kind of cool, like the Thomas Wayne Batman. Like that just looks kind of badass. And then, yeah, with the red decals, looks like a bit of a mashup between our regular Bruce Wayne and kind of Batman Beyond sort of thing. Don't know what the origin of the figure is, but he looks cool. He looks fun. Another Batman for the collection. People ain't going to get tired of Batman. They seem to eat him up like kibble. There's another one for you. Now, going back to Marvel, but over to SH Figure Arts, this is a big one. This is one I'm really excited about. SH Figure Arts, Let There Be Carnage. Carnage. This looks so good. You know, I'm always talking about having like the best version of every different character. I've done that with the X-Men, but Spider-Man, it's not so easy to do. There's not many different companies making the classic Spider-Man rogues. But this Carnage, oh baby, look, the film he comes from is toilet water, but that Carnage design looks so good. They did the Venom earlier this year, and they said, hey, if this sells well enough, we'll do Carnage. They were always going to do Carnage. He looks so great. I love the visceral, muscle-looking detail. Like, that's what Carnage should look like. Just this flowing sort of... It's so cooler than it looks on screen. Like, the actual action figure, I like the separate teeth that he has. He looks mean. And also, what I really like, if you're thinking about scaling with Marvel Legends and other 1/12 scale figures, SH Figure Arts, they tend to be like a little smaller. They are 1/6 scale, but they're a little bit smaller within that spectrum. But for Carnage, for my idea of Carnage, that works, because he should be like this little evil demonic murder imp. And that's what he looks like. So I'm going to keep an eye out for this. Heck, I might even be in Japan when it gets released. So that could be kind of handy. Let me read you some details for him here. So, He's going to be 14,300 yen, which is about $104. So the pre-orders are open now for him, and he should be shipping around about May of next year. So this could be the quintessential Carnage. This looks really cool. And sticking with SH, but going over to Monster Arts now, we have the SH Monster Arts Gamera 1999 Kyoto Battle version. Now, Gamera, I was talking about Gamera the other day. Netflix are doing a new Gamera movie. And yeah, so he's sort of the giant turtle equivalent of Godzilla. Different franchises, though. Never crossed over, interestingly. But just as a action figure, the mechanics of this looks super pretty. Looks really, really nicely done. I don't have any big affection for Gamera. I don't think I've ever seen any of the Gamera films. I was always more of a Godzilla guy. But he does look cool. If you've got that kind of nostalgia for those old classic movies, not even that old, I guess they say from the name. This is a 1999 one. So he's been having more modern films. I'm not sure when the last one was. But yeah, he looks super fun. So similar to Carnage, it's a Japanese release that will be coming out later. I'll tell you when exactly. This guy's going to be scheduled for around about June of next year. And he's going to be going again for about that kind of $100 sort of price point. Don't know what I'm doing here. Just like I'm massaging someone's invisible head. How's that feel? Feel good? Yeah, it does. I got a great massage game. Over to Mezco now, and they have revealed their 2-pack Dick Tracy and Flat Top set. This is kind of fun and quirky and unusual. I'm old enough that I was a kid in the 90s when the Warren Beatty Dick Tracy movie was like a really big deal. Or at least it was in America for one summer, and then it kind of just sort of was forgotten about. It's interesting. I went to America with my family. We did the whole Disney holiday, and I was still super into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But by the time we got there, it was this thing called The Simpsons that everyone seemed to love, and Dick Tracy was being like just plastered everywhere. So I was dubious that these Simpsons were going to catch on, but Dick Tracy I thought was very cool. This is based, of course, not on that movie, which if you haven't seen, you really should. It's just so much fun. This is based on the real old, like, what are they, 1930s? Comic books or TV news, not TV news, TV, stop saying TV, Dave, newspaper cartoons, strips. So yeah, very stylized old 1920s, 30s gangster pulp, like, meh, see, I'm gonna put you away now, that kind of look. But Mezco loves that. They got their Popeye line as well. There's a big market for that nostalgia. So this set is going to be about $195, which is a lot, obviously, but I mean, you do get 2 Mezco figures for that, and it's scheduled, don't laugh, it's scheduled for late 2023, which, you know, sit back, relax, take off your pants, crack a beer, and I'll give you a little nudge in 2026 when it finally comes out. 3-0 are giving us a Marvel DLX Black Panther. 3-0, they always go a little high end. This is for the more discerning kind of collector. But yes, it's MCU looking Black Panther, and there's not too much I can kind of tell you that you can't see for yourself. I will tell you at least that he's going to cost about $100 and is going to be released around about the second quarter of next year. But yeah, if you want what might arguably be like the quintessential 1/12 scale MCU T'Challa, then this might be the one to go for. Now everyone's favorite Marvel Disney Plus TV heroine, She-Hulk, is getting the Hot Toys treatment. Of course, that was a little bit tongue-in-cheek. She-Hulk is very divisive. I enjoyed it. It was nonsense, but it was enjoyable nonsense. But Hot Toys, they're like, I don't care how silly this franchise is. We're going to go ham. And they have gone ham. What do I always say about Hot Toys? They look incredible, and they got a price tag to match. No price has been revealed for this yet, but you know, I'm guessing $250, maybe around about that, give or take. What I was really impressed with is the not just pinless tech, but like jointless tech. It's all this kind of whatever the material is, like latex, rubber skin on top. You can't even see the joints. I wasn't sure if it was a statue or not. I was like, this is definitely an action figure, right? Because it looks like a statue. There's no creases or anything, no lines. It's very impressive. Very, very impressive. So you've got all the details of She-Hulk. It's right there. If you want to immortalize a TV show, if you're one of those Johnny Richingtons who just has a massive Hot Toys collection, first of all, can I come over and have a look? And secondly, that's a new one to add. keep your eye out for her. So I mentioned Turtles earlier. Neca, they're not done with Turtles yet. They have teased a Kano figure from TMNT 2, Secret of the Ooze. So Kano is their human friend, sidekick. And this is kind of a fun, very much beloved by the audience character, because the actor played one of the turtles in the original movie. I don't know which turtle he was, but he was one of the suit actors. And basically just everyone loved him and thought he was charismatic and really good in front of the camera. So they thought, okay, for the sequel, let's get you out of the suit and actually have you as a character in the film. So that was really cool. And now it looks like he's going to be created, not just him, but his pizza delivery moped as well. So that will probably be a quite a chunky set, but it'll probably be great. Again, if you're going all in on your turtles, then he's a pretty essential character for that movie franchise. Me, I just got the basic 4 and Super Shredder. That is it, I think. So I'm happy with those. But yeah, he's probably going to be great. They always are with Neca, so we'll keep an eye out. And speaking of Ninja Turtles, legally distinct warrior turtle figure from 5K Toys, Donatello, or not Donatello, you know what I'm saying, has had the full image reveal. We had the samurai Leonardo character, and now we've got the full-on tech Donatello. And yeah, just like Leo, he looks cool. I gotta say, once Leo started hitting store shelves, I was surprised like just how small, that they are small. I think they are technically 1/12 scale, but in like the creator's mindset, the turtles are small. So that's how they should look. But I was like, it's not quite what I was expecting. But the details are beautiful. And what they've done with Donatello, I think, is it over the last like 10 years or so? I think probably the Michael Bay films and also some of the more recent animated cartoons, it's kind of like standard now that Donnie has, goggles and a backpack. They tech him up more than he used to be, which is fine. It sort of makes him a more distinct looking character. So this looks super lovely. No like big time details, but just look at the pretty pictures. They do look pretty. And finally, for action figures, we have some beautiful, beautiful glamour shots of this robot mech version of Hell-Boy. And this looks really badass. So this is the BB7 Toys Model X Dark Horse licensed Hell-Boy. So this is official merchandise over here. And yeah, it just looks great. I've never been a huge Hell-Boy fan. I've not read any of the comics. I enjoyed the movies, but I was never like, need to have Hell-Boy immortalized on my shelf. But mechanized Hell-Boy, it just looks really, really cool. So again, like Donatello or not Donatello, I don't have a price point or release date or anything. We just have these great looking glamour shots. So enjoy those, and when we find out more, I'm gonna let you know. Over in movie and TV news, we got more to cover here. First of all, we're having some early reports and reviews of Amazon? Avatar. There you go. Again, not editing that. Avatar Way of the Water. And apparently it's pretty damn good. That's what's coming out of the Hollywood scuttlebutt, the reporters, the sneak peeks, the people who have seen it. They're like, okay, James Cameron, you son of a biscuit, you've done it again. From what I understand, the underwater scenes are incredible, which is also kind of disappointing to me to hear because I can't see 3D. So that will do nothing for me. I'm going to be one of the guys in the 2D screening going like, it's all right, I suppose. I didn't realize I couldn't see 3D until I saw the original Avatar, and I was sat next to my mate, and like 5 minutes in, he turns to me, he goes like, this is amazing. And I'm like, is it? Because it just looks blurry, pal. Yeah, it happened when my face got all messed up. I had an operation on my eye, and my teeth were all not crooked, and yeah, that's why. My left eye doesn't react to light anymore, like as quickly as the right eye does. So 3D just doesn't work. So I'm gonna miss out on that. But apparently, if you can see it in 3D, it will look amazing. So I'm really happy to hear that it's gonna be a good film, a good time. I'm looking forward to this one. And on the complete opposite end of the movie spectrum, Christmas, Bloody Christmas, now streaming on Shudder, is such a good time horror movie. This is Robo-Santa. It's the Terminator. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. It's the Terminator with a Santa Claus skin. And it's just so much grimy, pulpy fun. If you like gory horror movies, but it's very self-aware. It knows what it is. Check out the trailer on YouTube. But yeah, if you want to see a militarized Robo-Santa Claus go on a rampage, it's a blast. It has this kind of grimy sort of 80s feel to it, even though it is set in the modern day. It feels kind of like an 80s movie, but just drenched in green and red Christmas neon. It's a really good time if you like that sort of thing. If you're not a horror movie person, you're not gonna like it because it's gross. But for me, it's fun gross. So yeah, if you enjoy brutal horror movies that are a bit tongue-in-cheek, go check out Christmas Bloody Christmas. Now, recently, I was introduced to the work of Mike Flanagan, who's the guy behind The Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass. He's got a whole bunch of series on Netflix, all kind of ooky spooky, all really freaking good. And apparently, he's going to be working with Amazon to do an adaptation of Stephen King's The Dark Tower, which I haven't read the books. I've not seen the Idris Elba movie either, but I still, from what I understand of like the sci-fi neo-noir western kind of thing, it looks cool, but I just haven't connected with it. But a lot of people say that like this is a great franchise, it just needs the right adaptation. So this dude, Mike Flanagan, covering this as a like multi-season long epic for Amazon, that could be great. Although I mean, Amazon, like they love pitching their multi-season epics, but you know, the first season has to be successful before that happens, okay? We're seeing that with Rings of Power, where, like, for all the money they pumped in, I don't know if it got quite the amazing reception they were hoping. I mean, it's not bad, but I'm like, I can kind of take it or leave it. Maybe Dark Tower will be their big franchise that's going to be a massive success. Who knows? But the fact that it's got this story, and then it's got Mike Flanagan, like, creating it, I'm definitely interested. What I was never interested in was the DCEU, really. They kind of stumbled at the first hurdle, and I just never really enjoyed any of the output in particular. Even the good stuff, like Wonder Woman, I was still like, just ain't doing it for me. You know who else feels that way? James Gunn. And it looks like he's going to go scorched earth on most of the DCEU. It's like, no, it's the Etch-a-Sketch end of the world, as someone once said. He's just going to shake it all up and start again, which I completely get. It's like, there's no point in trying to build a house on foundations that are kind of crumbling and just not good. So it's a real mystery as to things that are almost finished, half done, in development. It looks like they're all being put on hold with a view to being scrapped, such as Wonder Woman 3? Nah, that's not happening. The sort of Flash movies and Batman spin-off, such a shame. We're never going to see Michael Keaton as an older Batman, which is such a disappointment, because that dude's awesome. So he deserves better, but doesn't look like he's going to get it. But I'm willing to sacrifice that if we just get a clean slate with the DCEU. Just stop, wash off all the stink of all the bad stuff and just start fresh, which is a shame because, like, Henry Cavill, man, again, he deserves better. Gal Gadot, she's fantastic, but unfortunately it's all wrapped up in this, like, awful Snyderverse, like, nonsense, bad set of franchises. So, yeah, I'm saying just forget it. Either recast or just like, draw a line and go, all right, Cavill is still Superman, but this is all new, okay? Because, look, audiences get it, like we do. If they do a completely new DCEU, like do like a brand new origin of Superman story, you can still have Henry Cavill play Superman. I don't think anyone's going to go like, wait, but we saw him in the Justice League, and like now this is no one cares. Like we read the internet, we know the things, like we just want to go and see a good film. That's all we want. And speaking of going to see films, Black Adam. Not many people have gone to see that film. It had a really big opening weekend. That's the second sort of story. I'm going to fold it into this one. Black Adam had a really big opening weekend and then dropped right off. And reports initially, this is kind of fun. Initially, reports were saying Black Adam set to lose Warner Brothers $100 million or whatever. And then The Rock came out and posted his own thing saying, Actually, Black Adam is doing reasonably well. It's fine. We're going to make back our budget. In fact, we're going to be in profit. Did you know the original Captain America movie made less than this? And it's like, oh, Dwayne, you're getting on the defensive there. But I can't blame you. It's your project. It's your franchise. You've been working years for this. Of course you want to, like, put on a good face. But it would seem that, yeah, Black Adam, the hierarchy of power in the DCU, it hasn't really shifted the way that we were looking for. Again, another reason for James Gunn to go like, you know what? It's just scorched earth this. Start again. Over in Marvel Comics, I don't read a lot of ongoing, like, brand new stories as they come out. Just the main Spider-Man stuff. But I have been reading Punisher because I'm always going to be a fan of Frank Castle. And I was genuinely interested to see where they were going with this Punisher joins the Hand story. Because at first I was like, I don't buy this. I don't buy this for a second. And they said that, like, he joined the Hand because they resurrected Frank's wife. So it's like, oh, he's got something to fight for now and a reason. But also, for decades, there have been stories in which magical people have offered to resurrect Frank's family or have even, like, done so. And he's been like, no, not interested because that's not really them. They died in the park. That's like an abomination. Now I'm going to shoot you all. But for the sake of this story, he's like, okay. So I was dubious going in, but I've been quite enjoying it, actually. Because it's Frank Castle in the Hand versus mainly like Ares, the god of war, who, again, I've always been a fan of that character. It's a fun setup and dynamic, and now the Punisher is getting super juiced up, basically. And also, I don't mind these kind of crazy stories because you know they're never going to last forever. They're always going to go back to the status quo eventually. So I'm just going to, like, enjoy the ride. It's the same as when Frank Castle was a demon angel guy from heaven. Like, he was Frankenstein's monster for a while. So it's a fun run when now Punisher has all these supernatural powers as well. He's like a god himself, basically. So soon he's going to be going toe-to-toe with Ares. I'm down to clown. Punisher right now, totally off the wall compared to what you would expect from Punisher. But for what it is, I'm having a good time. Over in video games now, it was the Game Awards last week. It was last week. And during the Game Awards, you have 1,000,001 different video game trailers as well. Too numerous to mention, but one that I will is The Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, which features the final voice acting gig of Kevin Conroy as Batman. So that's very, very poignant. And they released the trailer featuring Batman himself. And it's kind of bittersweet. Well, I mean, it's obviously bittersweet, but it's funny that Conroy's last portrayal of Batman is not like classic Batman. It's going to be a villainous Batman, in which maybe if the name of the game is anything to imply, he will get killed by the Justice League. Suicide Squad. But I mean, hey, look, we don't know what the plot's going to be exactly. If it's like some Elseworld story where the whole JLA can get killed, or if it's set in their normal universe where they're like, no, they'll all be turned good again at the end. We don't know. I do like the idea, though, that we'll actually get the chance to see Kevin Conroy play a different type of Batman, because he's always, I am vengeance, I am the knight, I am Batman, which is fantastic. But it's Batman, we're used to it. So seeing like him play a villainous, scary Batman, because that's the cool thing, like, we don't find Batman scary because we're not criminals. We're not a superstitious and cowardly bunch. But if it's an evil Batman, you really get the impression of like, oh no, this could be brown trousers time. So that could be really fun. I'm really looking forward to this. Hopefully it will be the awesome, great kind of send-off that Kevin Conroy deserves. We should find out sometime later next year. Hopefully. It's not going to be delayed. Yeah, it must be next year. Over in pro wrestling news now, Mercedes Martinez, I think is the name she's going by. You might know her better as Sasha Banks. Several months ago, she and Naomi walked out of WWE, and since then we've been asking, what are they going to do? Where are they going to pop up? Well, it turns out that she is going to be appearing at New Japan Pro Wrestling's WrestleMania-style event, Wrestle Kingdom, which takes place on January 4th, which is going to be massive for hardcore wrestling fans. Cannot wait. So excited. Kenny Omega coming back to New Japan to wrestle Will Ospreay. Hoo-ha! Put your hat on straight and sit down, and this is going to be amazing. And yes, so Sasha Banks / Mercedes Martinez, or whatever name she's going by, is apparently going to be working with New Japan and their women's promotion Stardom. And that's really exciting because she's a big time name. So this will be huge for them. What's kind of interesting, though, is that WWE contracts are so muddy and difficult to kind of understand and work out. She's apparently, they're like, we think she's out of contract. She's pretty confident she's out of contract. And it's like, geez, this could get confusing. But yeah, she's not going to wrestle at Wrestle Kingdom apparently, but she will be making a big appearance. And for New Japan, for their promotion, to have her and, do multiple dates for them, that's going to really raise their stock and their visibility in the wrestling scene. And just seeing Sasha Banks / Mercedes back on TV, that's going to be really cool. It's an exciting time to be a wrestling fan. And finally, just to wrap things up with Christmas right around the corner, I thought it would be fun to share some images taken from a toy catalogue from the 80s with a whole bunch of 80s action figure playsets. It's so fun to look at these because it's like each one of these now would be a Kickstarter project for several £100s, but looking back at these, it's such nostalgia time capsule. It really, really is. Some of these, I don't even remember the names of them, but I recognize the shapes. It's such a funny thing how your brain remembers. I've got no idea what these characters are, but certain buildings and machines and vehicles and structures, I recognize those. I remember playing with them in my hands 35 years ago, which is so crazy. But guys, if you're anything in my kind of age demographic, which my YouTube statistics will tell me you probably are, then this is going to be a great fun nostalgia trip. So that was very Sean Connery there. A great fun nostalgia trip. So enjoy looking at those pictures and just get a big old sense of Christmas from the 80s with your nana sat on the armchair next to you smoking a cigarette while you unwrap your action figure playset that cost like 50 quid as opposed to 500. Good times. Enjoy. And that does it for Good News for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think about the stories covered? Comment below. Let me know. And if you like what you see here, hey, you know what? I'm not going to edit that. If you like what you see here and you want to see more, then you know what you got to do. You got to join the 6-1 Clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And also, guys, I'm still taking in video submissions for the action figure of the year. So make sure you get those over to me at davidsmodelbehavior@gmail.com. A 10 to 30 second video in landscape format of you going, hey, I'm so-and-so from, I don't know, Michigan. Don't know why I said Michigan, but there you go. Wherever you're from, delete appropriate. And this is my action figure of the year. Merry Christmas, everyone. This ain't my action figure of the year. Reviews coming soon, don't you worry. I'm going to get to you. So guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Cup of coffee. Cup of coffee. Coffee.